Hi, it's Tommy Jo at Bird Street Studio. Here's a little video. I may do this in a couple parts, but I was working along in the next journal that I want to do, and I realized that there's something that I do that probably a lot of people might be able to use this idea, and it has to do with I was cutting out the pieces for this next journal, and it's just paper, and I print on 31-pound presentation paper to get that really bright, vibrant color, as opposed to copy paper, which tends to mute the colors a little bit. But even 32-pound paper, any of these elements are not very heavy, so but 32-pound paper is a little too heavy to put on, say, let me pull one up here, like a piece of cardstock, because if I did that, the piece would be so heavy and hard. So this is what I do. I save, let me pull it, I save packing paper, that comes in your packages, and I use this for journal pages, and I also will use it to back items that you're going to write on. So if it's an item, a piece of ephemera that you're going to journal on, you can put it on packing paper because you can write right on there. So the other thing I do is, if it's a piece that you're not going to write on or see the other side per se, I have a collection of envelopes, okay? And I use them for various things, but one of the things I do, if I've used it, these security envelopes have a design, and oftentimes I'll use those for tags, like to make, let me see if I have a tag here that I made, like here. So here's a small tag that I just made with the inside of a security envelope, and then I'll decorate it or whatever. But the other thing you can do with these is you can back your pockets, and it just gives them a little more substance. So when they're on a page, they're not just a piece of paper. Now I will sew these things, but as I was making them, I thought, oh my gosh, I should just turn the camera on and kind of show you what I do. So this happens to be a kit from Louise Heinzel. I love her stuff. The last journal I did, excuse me, I'll get this out of the way. The last journal that I did was using one of her kits that I had fallen in love with, and I just purchased this digital a while ago. Let me show you real quick the papers. Again, these are printed on 32-pound presentation paper, so they're very bright white, and the colors are just gorgeous. And this is a fall kit. And I'll just go through these papers. Look at this one, has the birds and mushrooms and squash. And there's an owl and some butterflies. Look at the flowers and the colors in this digital. It's just gorgeous. And look at the bird. And this one, what I did was, when I printed it, this is the, without any adjustments. Her digitals are very bright and very vibrant, and they're gorgeous. But I printed this one out. It's the same thing, but I printed it at a little lighter setting, so if you can see the difference here, it's not quite as bright. I did that on a couple of her digitals just to see what, which one I liked more. Look at this fox here. Anyways, these are her digitals, and this comes with also, she has lined papers that match this. So there's some lined papers. And I haven't quite decided exactly what I'm going to do, but what I was doing was watching a class that I signed up for in here in my craft room on my phone. And I was cutting out all the pieces to the kit of the ephemera. And that's when I got this idea that maybe I should shut that lesson off and maybe record what I do, because I thought it was kind of interesting. So these are already done and are ready to go to the sewing machine. These are like postcards or whatever, and they're already backed. These mason jars also are in the kit, and they are as well already backed and ready to go to the sewing machine. So are these little page corners, like tucks. And these right here are, yeah, these have envelope backing, and these flags will go on the top of a page as a tuck or something, so they're on envelope as well. So what I have left here is I have some small tags, I have a couple of cards, and then these are bottom pockets, like horizontal pockets. And these come in her kit, and one side is pointed and one side is rounded. And I'm not exactly sure if they're like supposed to be some sort of a pillow box, or if they're supposed to be a tab, or I'm not really sure what she had in mind for these, but I rounded both. Because if I make it a tuck or something, if I make it like this, I'll probably snip these edges. I don't know yet what I'm going to do with them, but whatever. I do have these banners as well, and these stamps. These two little stamps, I'll show you right away. What I do is I have really inexpensive maybe these are the ones. Let me look. These are really inexpensive. No, those are too big. Oh, here we go. Design scissors. They don't even open and close easily. But I just take those because there's a really small scallop, and I will just scallop the edge so it looks more like a postage stamp. I don't know if you can see that. So that's like the first thing I would do when I saw these. And this is just getting everything ready for the journal. And I'll do this one as well. I don't necessarily decorate all the ephemera, nor do I normally cut all of it out. I usually, if I buy a kit, I'll put it in a folder like this, a clear folder. And whatever I don't cut out will go right back in that folder, so I have it, so I can identify the kit or whatever. But in this case, I wanted to show you some, so I went ahead and cut everything out. Okay, so that's the postage stamps, and those are pretty much done. Just going to move those up here. Okay, so let's move these aside, and we'll show you what we do. So the first thing is I have these flags here, and we're not going to see the backs of them, so I'm going to pull an envelope that I have either cut open already, or let me see, I have a whole bunch that I've like cut open to use or whatever. But anyways, this is what I would do is I would first make a straight edge here so that I can, yeah. Okay. And then I would take these and figure out where they will fit anywhere on there. And I want to be sure that I don't put it on, like this piece has some white on there. And I don't want that. Okay. And I don't want, this also has some white up here, and I don't want that on there. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that off. So then I know that this whole side of the envelope is a design. So I can turn these over, and I'm just going to glue them and stick them on there. And this is a way to use, you know, your envelopes. I could put coffee dyed paper on the back. I could do a lot of different things. I'll show you another way in a little while of, I do the same thing with scrapbook paper that I don't really care for. I'm gonna do this right, maybe here. Oh, maybe right here. Get it on. There we go. If there's scrapbook paper that I don't really like, I will do the same thing. Just use the design and, you know, back things with it. Sometimes I coffee dye my scrapbook paper. I'll coffee dye my scrapbook paper and there really isn't any rhyme or reason to this, but I'll show you what I do. I keep all my scraps because I use them in my glue book. Let me see what we got right here. We do have a little fold, but I think that we can still use that. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one on the fold. But all my scraps, if they're sizable enough, all these little ones I do not use in my glue book. But I save like these pieces, and I'll use those in my glue book. I save these pieces to back tags in that. And honestly, I know I'm a pack rat. These pieces, when I cut these pieces out, if there's a piece that's big enough to maybe stamp a word on, I save those as well. So let's get these cut out and I'll show you how they look. And so basically, like I said, I don't decorate yet or anything because I'm not really sure what page I'm going to put them on or if they're going to even need any more decorating. Louisa's kits are pretty nice. She's got a lot of design in the pieces. There are some tags that are pretty plain, but still very beautiful. So anyways, there's the back of that. So I didn't need to waste paper or whatever, and it's heavier than the paper, but it's not a heavy, hard piece of cardstock. So let's cut these other ones out. I used to save a lot of little itty bitty pieces, like, you know, pieces like this. And honestly, when I go to glue them onto something, to either collage or something, they're so small I don't often catch them in my sewing. Or, you know, they're just too small to deal with. The minute I cut up my collage for tags or something, part of that piece makes up the tag, but not all of it. And it ends up being just fairly small pieces. So I tend to not save those. I mean, I save enough. You could see all the scraps that I save. I'm just trimming that out a little bit. Got some stuck to my finger. And there. Okay, and so that's what I have left. So tags need to go on something where you can journal on the back. So I'm going to put those aside. And the same with these cards. You will journal probably on the backs of those or whatever. But these are bottom pockets, so I could use this to back this pocket. So we're going to go ahead and glue that onto there. And I'm going to try and save as much of this paper in one piece as I can. So we'll put it right up here, I think. Make sure that it's all on there. And I didn't cut this out. Louisa designs those with a cutout, but oftentimes that cutout is a little big for what I want. So I normally don't cut it. Because I may put a piece of paper or something there, so, and then just make the cutout a little smaller. Sometimes I like them that size, sometimes I like them a little smaller, and until I know what I'm going to do with it, I don't cut it out. Okay, so there's another one. And again, this is going to go on a, on a page, so you'll never even see that back part. So that's ready to get sewn. And I'll sew, once I figure out what I'm going to do, I'll sew that up. Okay, and these pieces I'm going to keep. I'm going to actually just go like that. Now I may use the cellophane, so I'll go ahead and keep that. And I'll do one more on here. Oh, this one's really bright, so I'm going to go ahead and do this one. So I want to cut this white off so that I know that when I turn this over, I can put it right up here, and it's okay, perfect. So let's make sure I'm up here on camera. I tend to do everything down low where I have my head over it anyways. So, and both of these pieces are big enough scraps to save. So we'll save these. Okay, perfect. And there's the back of it. Okay, so I do have a couple more that I can do, and these cards, but I wanted to show you the ones where you can see the backs. So I want to show you how I do that on the paper. Sometimes I do it on coffee dyed paper. This theme of this journal is fall, so I thought that this would be fine to use these. Perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and, oh no, I'm just thinking of something. I'm going to wait to do these because I may end up making them into cards. I don't know. So I'm going to wait to do these. Okay, but I definitely can do these tags. And she's got some designed ones and some plain ones. So I'll do a couple of each and we'll show you. So they won't fit this way. Oh, they might fit like that. Yes, they will. So I'm going to go ahead, but I will do it this way just so I can line them up. And then we'll put some on the bottom. I usually just take a card and kind of flatten out the packing paper behind it. Doesn't have to be perfect, but a little bit. Okay. So I save all the packing paper. I get a wad of packing paper and I will sit and watch TV and kind of unwad it. And a lot of them now have the perforated edges, so they actually rip off in sheets. Or I will fold them. Not, you know, if I have a lot of sheets and I'm not sure what I'm going to use it for, I'll just fold it on the perfs. Pretty. This kit is beautiful. I will link the kit in the description box. And okay, we'll do one more. Get this on and then I'll cut them out and they will be ready for sewing. Okay, so let's get these cut out. I'm going to cut right across the top here so I can save this bigger piece. Right here, I'll put that with our pieces to save. Now some of this packing is thin because it is just packing paper. You know, so you could back it with something a little different if you want it much thicker, but to be honest with you, I like my tags not to be real hard. You know, to be real stiff in that, because remember, once we sew them, that makes them a little bit sturdier, much sturdier. This is really a pretty kit and kind of different for fall colors, but maybe that's why I'm attracted to her digitals so much. They're a little different, but just gorgeous. And you know, they're like, this is not a traditional fall, like you don't see a, you know, it's got more salmon or coral colors as opposed to the orange and reds and browns, and I just love it. I love the mauve color. I don't know, I just love it. Okay, let's get this last one cut out. All right, quite pretty. Now these are ready to be sewn as well. I sew around the edges of them. I'm not going to punch the hole out because I haven't decided yet if I want to put a topper that would cover that, like a material, or if I want to punch the hole and put a topper in there. So like we can do these on coffee dyed paper or the brown paper as well. But what I was thinking for these is sometimes I use papers that are not my favorite, to use them up, old scrapbooking papers. And so I was thinking, oh, I don't like that, but I was thinking I found a really pretty green. I don't know how many of you have this kind of paper pack. Bought way back when you were scrapbooking, and it has all these kind of wacky retro colored papers. I mean, these are pretty old. But anyways, I found this and I thought it would be pretty because it matches some of the greens. So these cards, I thought would be pretty if they were on top of, let me see what size they are. These are a little over 4 inches. So if we leave a half and a half, if we make them 5 inches, that would be perfect. 5 by however long. So I'm going to get my cutter and if I make it 5 inches this way, okay, I'm measuring, I don't know if I'm on camera or not, but if I make it, so, no, I have to make it, if I make it 5 inches, that'll give us about, not quite a half an inch all the way around, so that would be 5. So I want to make it 5 by, maybe 4 by 5, and we want 2 of them. So let's make it this way. Let's go 4 this way. I'll make a little over 4. And then we want 5. Like this. I can trim it if I need to, but I want to make sure that I got at least 5. And then make another one that's 5. And then what I do is, because I'm using this as a backing paper, I'll keep these scraps to use within the journal, and it'll bring that color back in somewhere else. So I'm thinking that that would look pretty because it matches the screen. Okay, I like it. And then, because it's a card, I can still back it with that brown paper, and it'll really make it sturdier. So let's go ahead and glue this on. So now you see you can use envelopes for backing, or you can use packing paper for backing, or we can use some of this old scrapbook paper. And again, if there were colors in here that you didn't really care for, you could use them like for these. You know, who cares what's on the back? But that's a way to use up some of those scrapbook papers that you wouldn't use otherwise. These are really pretty cards, huh? Very pretty. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and back them with some paper just to make them a little bit heavier. Oh, that would be pretty even on there, huh? Wow. But let's... I think once we back these and then we sew them, they'll be so nice and sturdy. And they won't be too heavy. So, thinking I might save more paper this way if I can do it like this. All right, quite pretty. So we'll go ahead and cut these out. And again, I'll save this long scrap of brown paper to collage back other things. But once I get it off, we will smooth off the backs of these. I can feel it when I was cutting it, but they need to be smoothed out a little bit. So I'm gonna air out. Oh yeah, much nicer. If I had ironed this paper, which I've been known to do because I iron my coffee dyed paper as well, probably wouldn't have those big air pockets, but I didn't iron these. I just ripped it apart on the perfs and stored it here. Oh yeah, this makes for a really nice weight for these cards. They're not too heavy. Oh yeah, really nice. So that's ready to be sewn. Put that in my to be sewn pile up here. My stamps out of the way. Oh, I really like that. Those are so pretty. I wonder how wide these are. Yeah, they're almost 5. I mean, you could put paper or something on the back of these too, but I think we'll just leave them like that. And then, so these are all ready to be sewn. These I will do off camera. And these, I know that we're not going to see the backs, so let's see what I got for envelope. Oh, those points are so wide. I don't know if they'll fit on there, but we're not going to see it, right? So it doesn't matter. I'll pull that off a little bit. Okay, let's go ahead and glue that on there. Like I said, we're not going to see the back, so it really doesn't matter. But I know that let's do this one as well. And again, if I decide that I want to cut the corners off these, I can do that later. But right now we'll know that they're already backed. So funny because most people pick their papers and get their pages in order when they do a journal first. And I'm doing the ephemera first. Well, like I said, I was watching a class and I was doing some cutting. So okay, those are pretty. So because I don't know whether I'm going to use them as tags or as tucks or whatever, I'm not going to sew these just yet. And I won't back these just yet either. This is another item that comes in the kit. It's an envelope. And I just cut that out and folded it the way I wanted it, so I will put that together as well. This was a piece of the envelope that I'm saving. This piece I'll put back up here to use again. Okay. Okay, I think for now that's a wrap. I just wanted to give you some ideas of different things you can use as backings. Just the only thing you have to bear in mind is it something that you're going to see the back of? In that case, you're going to want to use either like your coffee dyed papers or like packing paper. The other thing is, don't be afraid to, you know, like say if this was a paper that you didn't like per se, you could go ahead and back this on here and then it would just have a white back. So it's going to give it some sturdiness. You're going to be using up a paper you don't like. I do like this paper. And maybe get through some of your old scrapbooking paper. I have tons of it, so I do use it for a lot of different things. So I hope those ideas inspire you. And I'm going to go ahead and go over to the sewing machine and get these sewn. And then I have an idea when I come back of something that I wanted to show you, but we'll make that video too or something. I don't know. Something a little different. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support, for subscribing, for your likes, your thumbs ups. I really appreciate it. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.